Hey everyone, welcome back to Essentially Heroes. Got me, Etienne Kinsey. Got your other pal
Johnny Farris.
of Rusty Ferris Wheel Productions
That's
and
right.
other fame.
That's right.
And yeah, we're coming back to you for more fun times. So yeah, today we have a Marvel centric episode. I know that we had the DC train going for a while, but now we're swinging back around to I know there was a discussion about Hulk versus Thing, which may or may not get dropped, and then we talked about Spider-Man: Far From Home.
That's right. Yes, we did Avengers Endgame.
All right, Avengers Endgame. Yeah, okay,
That was the official pilot,
right.
right?
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
And then Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then we've taken a break from Marvel, which is indicative of where Marvel is right now,
Yes, that's true.
right? I
That
mean,
is
Marvel's
true.
in a bit of not a holding pattern, but they're hibernating at the moment
Yeah,
after the greatest superhero
exactly. Just
team
taking their-
efforts of all time, cinematic team efforts of all time.
Exactly. But
One
they
can
don't
say.
plan to slow down though.
Nope,
Because
no.
there's been a lot of Marvel news coming out
Sure.
over the last couple of months. And yeah, that's what we're here to get into today.
Yeah, so our marquee, I imagine, is going to be Marvel update. Fall to what? Tomorrow's the first day of winter, if I'm not mistaken. I believe tomorrow's the first day of winter. So winter
Yeah.
2019 Marvel update
Yeah.
coming
let's
at
go with
you. Essentially, Heroes is the one-stop shop of where to find out what the hell is happening with Marvel and what we want to see. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
there's things I want to see.
that. Same.
Things I'm not sure about. There's things I'm excited about. There's things I have questions about.
Yeah. And we will get into that today. All right. So get us started, Johnny.
Good point. Where do we stand now?
Mhm.
We've got, as I just said, let's see, we've had Infinity War and Endgame
Mm.
closing the chapter on what has easily historically been the greatest cinematic attempt at bringing comic books to live action.
Right.
Separate and apart. Okay, maybe team effort. Maybe I'm allegiant to Nolan and the world that he's built when it comes to Batman. But
Mhm.
in this realm, if you gave somebody, I don't know how much money has Marvel spent now over the years on building these movies? $1 billion approximately.
Over that.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent over 300 million
Uh-huh.
just on Endgame. I
Just on
believe.
Endgame, which is
Yeah.
that's unbelievable.
So imagine every other movie compounded onto that. Like it's
If
some
Marvel-
astronomical
If Marvel
number.
gave me $300,000, like the things that we could now do, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's fascinating.
Hey,
So that much money.
Shout out to Marvel if you want to drop us some cash, see what so we can come up with for you.
I got
So,
superheroes. I got them.
yep,
I'm working on them right now. We just filmed one.
yeah,
this
yeah, we're
past
filming
weekend.
our own situation. So
Yeah.
look out, Marvel. We got that competition coming.
That's right. We'll talk about that character specifically when it comes, because there's a Marvel doppelganger that we'll get to. But yeah, I mean, just if you took the amount of money over the last, it's now 20 odd movies, and given it to one director, two directors, a team of directors, and said, all right, bring this story to life, bring these stories to life. It's been fascinating what they've been able to pull off.
Yes.
Culminating now in Endgame, quite frankly.
Mhm.
And weaving these stories together, weaving this ensemble team together. There's a reason why I'm choosing that word. Where do we stand currently? That's what I want to know. I know there's a lot of Marvel is dropping the hints, and showcasing and launching Disney Plus and hitting it hard with Comic-Con. But as of right now, the content is dormant currently, except for, well, Disney's got some other things happening separate from Marvel World, as we know.
Right.
People are talking about the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, look outside. They are waiting for you. Yeah? Good.
But,
Yeah, which is taking center stage right now.
Yeah.
But
this is about Marvel. This
Yes.
is about Marvel Cinematic Universe and what's to come. And where do we stand? I don't know, to be honest. You are more abreast when it comes to what is coming. I know I'm excited about the next step in the Thor saga.
yeah, Thor 11.
Guardians. I know we've got the Phase 4 panel in front of us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where things lie. And I don't want Thanos to be fully dead, to be honest with you. He's one of the greatest villains of all time.
If he came back, then they would be in a pretty crappy situation.
Sure.
Because like you saw what he did to the Hulk. Like it's pretty bad.
Yes.
If he would be the one to come back.
He is.
They would be like, can we just get
Yep.
like if we're bringing villains back, can we just get Ironmonger, someone who's easy to take care of, like not a Titan
Sure.
ruler of outer space.
Yep.
But yeah, with Marvel, it's interesting because with everything that they've been up to, I feel like they're just trying to, well, since now that they've established the crown jewel, the piece de resistance, if you will, now they're just trying to extend their reach as far as they can get it and just make sure that this movie will take their brand to every sort of corner that they have been trying to reach, but maybe haven't. So, semi-recently, they announced the Marvel's The Avengers video game, which is basically I wouldn't say a continuation of the story that's established in the movies, but it's similar enough, yet seemingly different enough where it kind of brings you into that world that they've established with the movies.
Sure.
But it also leaves room for new stories.
Thor, Tony, check it out. At once.
Try to keep up.
This just got a whole lot more interesting.
Let's make this quick. Secure the bridge. Those weapons can't get into the city.
You set him up. I'll knock him down.
Thor, what's your status?
There are humans trapped. And lots of small, angry men with guns.
Is that a joke? Did Thor make a joke?
So, with the story that they established, at least through the few trailers that I did see, it is
for the Avengers game. You're talking
yes,
about.
the Avengers video game,
Right.
which there's been some talk about it online. Some people who think it looks cool, some people who are a little more skeptical because Marvel hasn't had a great track record when it comes to video games. The like major one that came out was the Spider-Man game for PlayStation 4,
Sure.
which did really well. And so now it's likely that, you know, they're trying to catch up with that because I don't think that they have too much what do you call it? I don't think they have too much pull over that game since with Spider-Man, also with it being on the PlayStation, which is a Sony affiliate, that they have that much say over it. But with the video game, I think they're trying to make their own sort of Arkham situation.
Right.
So in the game, you can play as Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Captain America, and at least from what we've seen, Hawkeye's missing from there. We don't know if he's going to show up or not. And then they also added in Miss Marvel as well, one of the main characters of the game, and then it's like you're using their powers, you're fighting enemies. I know there's a fight. I believe there's a fight with Taskmaster in there where you're playing as Black Widow and you're fighting with Taskmaster. There's lots of cool stuff in there. But yeah, like
I do love Taskmaster.
yeah, he's awesome. They definitely need to.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to be in the Black Widow movie, right?
As he should. Yeah.
Yes, so that's going to be really fun. But yeah, with Marvel, they're just trying to take everything as far as they can, especially with these TV shows. They're trying to solidify something on their own, which is, they had a good thing going with the Netflix situation.
The devil of Hell's Kitchen. The smart-ass detective.
We got a problem?
The righteous ex-con.
My bad.
And the kid with a glowing fist.
Yes, I want you to be.
The war for New York is here.
But, now they're trying to, well, I would say Disney more than Marvel itself, trying to pull out of that and then just get to the point where they have everything on their own. So it's not Netflix's Daredevil series. It's Marvel's Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
They want to put it all into one world.
Right, yeah.
Which I'm a little worried about.
And they want everything to be theirs. That's
Sure.
also the key point.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, it is worrying because that means that they'll basically have the market cornered.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we need one in every episode. So I'm glad
It's beverage time.
Yeah, glad you jumped in.
Mhm.
Yeah, they'll basically have the market cornered when it comes to Marvel stuff. Like Disney will have the market cornered, so you won't be able to. I fear that it'll get to the point where you won't be able to get to Marvel stuff without going through Disney in some fashion first. I hope it doesn't come to that. Like, I hope that there's at least some other non-Disney affiliated outlets for Marvel content. But yeah, who knows?
It'll be the comics. It'll always be the comics.
But how long will it be before Disney starts to
Buy up
jump in that
area?
Yeah, because a lot of the newer comics are more or less based on the movies in some form or fashion. So with the newer Guardians of the Galaxy comics, they're not exactly one-to-one with the movie, but I feel like they do take heavy inspiration from the movie versions.
I come from Earth, a planet of outlaws. My name is Peter Quill. There's one other name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
Who?
Well, Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw. Guys, forget it.
So the characters that were depicted in the movie were like the characters from the comic books were morphed into something more similar and recognizable to that.
Which I love, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've enjoyed of any of the animated series where there's been a manipulation or an invention in the animated series.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn came from the animated series. Jumping at DC, as I always do, but famous, the perhaps the most famous character where that's happened. So now the cinematic universe is impacting the comics, you're saying, for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, yeah. And like I said, it's not one-to-one. Like, it's not they're telling the exact same story.
Of course.
Yeah, I do feel like the characters, personalities, and things like that do pull from the comic. I mean, the movies a lot. And
I mean, Loki, if anybody.
Oh, Loki, big time.
It's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's that's Hiddleston bringing that aspect to a character where he's so
charismatic
but
and
kind
kind of
devious
lovable at the same time.
Like, for the longest
Yeah.
time, he was like, he is the douchebag brother. I mean, yeah, he's charming. He's got this cool charisma that you gravitate to, but at the same time, you're like, fuck, he cannot be trusted.
Oh, Jesus! You're alive. Yes, of course I'm alive. What are you doing here? What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm stuck in this stupid chair. Where's your chair? I didn't get a chair. Well, get me out of this one. I can't. Get me whispering. Huh?
I've never met this man in my life.
He's my brother.
Adopted.
Fuck, he cannot be trusted.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I feel like before he used to be more of like the Thor's loser evil brother.
Yes.
And now he's kind of more his own thing at this point. And I do believe that they that they put together a new line of Loki comics,
Right.
which I like design wise is really interesting. Like he's really coming into his own.
I mean,
you know,
when I was reading these comics as a kid and watching, and the cartoons came into play when I was older, but Loki specifically wasn't anybody to really remember. I mean, he was another character. He's in line with Mysterio, quite
Right.
frankly, or a bunch of different Spider-Man villains that are out there. Less recognizable than even Doc Ock, for example, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin. I mean, I'm likening or relating it to Spider-Man's gallery of villains because they're so famous, and
Right.
and he's got such a distinct set of specific characters. Going back to the comics, I can't even think of I guess Doctor Doom would be an Avengers villain.
Sometimes
I mean, who
an Avengers
Kang,
villain.
I guess.
Yeah, it would be
Like,
Kang, Thanos,
global
are
threats,
the big
yeah.
ones. Yeah, like Fin Fang Foom. Sometimes, basically,
That's right. I
Yeah.
remember that character.
yeah.
And that is telling about.
Also, on a side note, I noticed that I say basically too much, so I'm gonna try and fix that too. Each podcast, I try and like fix a different issue I have.
We are essentially heroes. We're not basically anything.
Yeah, I gotta keep it on brand. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying my best here. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
There was something I came across. There was an article that was relating specifically the X-Men to the Avengers. And what was interesting about this, and I chose the word ensemble early here, because one of the biggest takeaways I derived from this article was that the Avengers is an ensemble team.
Right.
They get together for, it's not even like a band. It's kind of like, the group, I'm thinking of, there was a super group in the late 70s, 80s, composed of, I think it was Traveling Wilburys, I believe it was. It was George Harrison. I can't believe I'm slipping on this. There's a bunch of different heavy hitting. This I need to confirm, because people will be angry that I don't know this specific rock.
Yeah, I definitely don't know. I'm not too familiar with the 70s rock scene.
So yeah, if you Google them, the first thing that comes up is the supergroup. This was the rock star that recently passed away. Actually, he passed last year. Okay, George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty.
Oh, okay.
Tom Petty. I mean, and this, but again, they weren't a band. They were this group of superstars who came together for this. I don't know how many albums. I should listen to their albums. I'm curious. But the Avengers kind of work like that.
Right.
Because the X-Men are always the X-Men. There's a rotating list of members that come in. Actually, it's not. There's core members, and then every so often you've got new members, and they graduate younger teams into the X-Men. Avengers don't work like that. Except they kind of cinematically did that. Iron Man's kind of grooming the next set with Vision, and who's supposed to be at that point.
Well, I actually in the comics, at least, in the comics, I would say that the Avengers do rotate out a lot.
Okay.
In the comics, you don't see too much of just the OGs there.
Sure.
Like it's not just Iron Man. Like you rarely see that with like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Like it's always just somebody else in there. So they'll put in Venom. They'll put in who else? There's been a lot of
Venom's been an Avenger?
Yeah, Venom's an Avenger. Hercules, they'll put in.
Cool.
Just lots of people. I'm pretty sure Sabretooth has been an Avenger.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Daredevil.
Welcome to your first aid Avengers Tower, Spider-Man. Mr. Stark has requested you join the team in the second door down the left corridor.
Thanks, Jarvis. Gotta remember to not act like a clueless newbie. Avenger Spidey is confident, cool, ready for anything. Spidey in the house, Avengers!
That's my point. It's
So I feel like the Avengers is actually one of the teams that rotates the most.
That's what I'm saying, and that's my
teams.
point, that it's this ensemble team, which is why you don't have specific villains. X-Men, Magneto. Unquestionably, Magneto. You've got Apocalypse. You've got Juggernaut, we talked about earlier tonight. You have this cast of characters that are always there. First Class, Sebastian Shaw. That League, Circle. I forgot the name. The team that he puts together, played by Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the Avengers don't have that though. The Avengers get together for this ensemble threat, very similar to Avengers in the first movie, Avengers 1. They come together. Loki puts together this alien invasion. I'm like, oh, okay, we need to get everyone to team up to fight.
All right, listen up. Until we can close that portal, our priority is containment. Barton, I want you on that roof, eyes on everything, call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back or you turn it to ash. Thor, you gotta try and bottleneck that portal. Slow him down. You got the lightning. Light the bastards up. You and me, we stay here on the ground. We keep the fighting here. And Hulk. Smash.
Same thing happens yet again in Thanos, and then they split apart. Perfect example. I was watching Civil War. No, excuse me. Cap 2. Winter Soldier. You've got these giant ships that are coming out of, is it DC? Where S.H.I.E.L.D. is now turning into Hydra?
Right.
And they're about to target the entire planet. Like, they're about to wipe. It wasn't Thanos' 50% of the population, but they're S.H.I.E.L.D. / Hydra was now about to target the entire planet by killing, I don't know how many millions of people were just going to be like executed by way of this program that was happening, like this algorithm that system happened. Okay. And they had Cap, Black Widow, Falcon, and Bucky was on theirs. Bucky was on the Hydra side. Bucky was the Winter Soldier.
He was, yeah.
So that's it. I mean, in that scene, you don't see Iron Man coming in like very easily. Rhodey, Iron Patriot. I mean,
and you'd think Nick Fury,
of course,
would use the alien communicator given to him by his godlike friend, who could have solved that issue in 2 seconds.
I don't know how many of those helicarriers were about to come up and take out. However, I don't know if it was the whole planet. I don't know if it was just the United States, the potential villains that were going to come. But my point is, villains and the teams that they are. When I write these characters, I think of the good guys and the bad guys. I think they're really there's A and B when I come up with them. The Avengers came up like separately as a thing, like, all right, we need this band that's going to come together, but it's not a real band. It's a super group, like the Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah.
That's and that's why I'm curious, what is Loki bringing to it? What is going to come? Dr. Doom is another character. He's not in the Avengers world. Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, sometimes he delves in.
I want to know where we're going with it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And what's even greater, too, is the point that you made, where if Loki started as this devious, unquestionable brother who
nobody liked,
and he's in
D-list,
and perpetually in the shadow of Thor, the Fabio / awesome brother of all time, right?
Yeah.
Who's in line to become the next Odin and take over Asgard, and never escaping out of that shadow, right? Fighting vehemently to find his way or find allegiance from a set of people, in which case in the Avengers, he's hoping that'll be Earth. Now, all of a sudden, he's charming, and now he's a good guy. He's killed by Thanos. But in Endgame, he's out. Now he's like coordinating different timelines, and he's back to his old self. So it's fucking cool. I like what they did with it.
That's pretty neat, yeah.
But you're saying the comic is now taking on a different...
Yeah, with the comic, well, actually, I haven't delved too far into it, but it's probably will get into Loki more personally and just give him even further character development and build him into kind of not as much of a villain so much as a gray area kind of guy. So, which is what the comics do tend to do, is they take villains and then they just give them more to work with, and by the time they're done, they're not so much a villain as much as, Well, actually, it depends on the story because a lot of times they'll put the villain in a situation where they have to do the hero thing, and then from there it'll kind of just move on to their just something else. So, for example, there are a bunch of comics where I remember there was a comic where Carnage sacrificed himself to save it was either Spider-Man or like other people or but I remember there was a comic where Carnage was helping Spider-Man. So situations like that. And yeah, I would say about 40% of supervillains have at some point joined the hero side. Case in point, Red Hulk. He's a good guy. I mean, Wolverine started out as a villain and now he's the X-Men hero.
Sure.
You know?
He was an I don't know if I would call him a villain. He was just kind of a lone wolf doing his own thing.
So he was sent to hunt the Hulk and stuff, but
Right.
he was presented as an antagonist character. Juggernaut.
Sure.
He joined the X-Men,
Sure.
you know? And I believe it was what was it? World War Hulk comic book where he comes back from Sakaar and he's pissed because he believes that the Avengers killed the wife that he had on Sakaar. So he comes back to Earth ready to
Sakaar
kick
is Planet Hulk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the planet that he's sent to.
Which is kind of
where he
depicted
fights the
in
gladiator
Ragnarok.
battles. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the planet in Ragnarok. Sakaar.
Oh, it is the planet.
Yeah, that is
okay,
the
got
planet,
it.
yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Where they have the gladiator matches.
All of Sakaar now looks to you.
What if they're looking in the wrong direction?
You are their savior.
I've never been called anything but a monster.
Hulk. Those from your old world did not understand you. They did not know you. Not like we do. We've witnessed your true strength.
All my life I've moved from one fight to the next. Now I don't know what to do.
Then allow me to take that journey with you.
In World War Hulk the comic, he makes his way back to Earth with a band of gladiators, and he is determined to destroy the heroes and take over Earth. So he basically goes, I said basically again, sorry. So he goes through a list of heroes and just starts taking them out. And he ends up at the X-Men mansion. And he picks a fight with everyone there, and including Professor X, including everyone, and the kids like have to run inside, and then Juggernaut shows up and he's kind of in just regular clothes at that point, but Juggernaut takes on the Hulk protecting the X Mansion. And yeah, it was really interesting. It's always interesting to see those situations where the villain morphs into the hero. Sabretooth, another big one. Sabretooth is, I remember seeing a comic where Deadpool was convinced that Sabretooth killed his parents. And at that point, Sabretooth was either with the X-Men or he was partnered up with some team of good guys. But Sabretooth had to fight Deadpool and also talk him out of his unfounded rage because Sabretooth actually didn't kill his parents. So you have Sabretooth trying to be the voice of reason to Deadpool, who is trying really hard to kill him. And so I always love seeing situations like that.
So where are we going? What's next? Is Loki, the TV show is scheduled?
Right, yes.
Right.
The TV show is scheduled for spring 2021 as part a little bit later in the phase 4 launch among the movies and TV shows. So probably going to get into a lot of different situations and build the story out more. And I can't say too much. I didn't read into the proposed storyline for Loki too much. The only thing I know is that people don't like the logo for it, which I can kind of see where they're coming from. It's
So this is
a little busy.
I'm looking at the phase 4 here. We got spring 2021 when Loki's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully by then we will have we'll have gone through everything that's scheduled for 2020, and then we'll probably have a better idea of what it'll be going for. Unless maybe Loki is going to be some sort of prequel situation to just fill out more of the world that we didn't know about. I can't say. Sorry if that information is already out there. I didn't look into.
Is Loki, and that's the TV show.
Right. Yes, on Disney
So
Plus.
the next films that are scheduled to come in 2020, what are we looking at here?
I believe Black Widow is the next one that's supposed to drop.
And I see Falcon Winter Soldier. That's TV.
Right, that's TV.
That's TV.
Yes.
Eternals,
So everything with the Disney Plus logo
Eternals
right
is
here.
the next film. Black Widow.
Black
in
Widow,
May,
and then Eternals.
and November for Eternals.
Right.
That's fascinating
Yes.
because that's, I mean, compared to let's take a look. What's off the top of your head? Last year, what was Marvel between Endgame, between Infinity War? What happened between Infinity War and Endgame? Infinity War was April 2018.
Right.
Then came Ant-Man and the Wasp, July. Then came the unexpected hit. I think people did not expect Captain Marvel to do as well as it did. Captain Marvel was March of 2019. Then came Endgame. And then they followed up with Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yep.
Now, of those movies, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 of those movies took in $1 billion each.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Those are so
Yeah, I don't.
one beat.
I think it's been a while since Marvel hasn't made $1 billion.
Okay.
Think about that.
So that means, and they're banking on Black Widow
Right.
prequel, which I expect will do it.
It's never easy these days.
So what are you going to do?
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
I know you're out there.
I know you know I'm out here. So we're gonna talk like grown-ups?
Is that what we are?
And then the chance of the Eternals, which nobody knows about.
I would say based on the cast that they put for it.
Tell me about that.
For it.
I want to hear this.
So this is going to be pretty awesome,
yeah,
right?
okay,
All right.
all right.
So check this out.
Yeah, I get it. Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm a fan. I love The Tourist.
They have Richard Madden as Icarus. Sorry, I don't know too much about the Eternals, but I'm just going based on what's out right now.
All right.
They have Angelina Jolie as Athena.
Yeah.
They have Ma Dong-suk as I believe he was actually supposed to be playing the character Gilgamesh. I believe that's what I read, but on here it has him as the forgotten one.
Okay.
Yeah, but Gilgamesh. He's a very popular Korean actor.
Okay.
I believe he was in Train to Busan, which is an extremely fun movie. Check it out on Netflix.
Okay.
They have Kumail Nanjiani, famous comedian.
I just watched him in Stuber, and
Yeah.
and that movie's hysterical.
He's
I loved
amazing,
it.
right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
loved it.
He's so awesome.
He was also in Franklin and Bash.
Yeah. What's he part of Silicon Valley?
Yes.
The show? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
also that.
Yes. People
Yeah.
probably more know him there, if
Right.
anything. I loved Franklin and Bash. I'm not, as an attorney, I don't like Law and Order. I never enjoyed watching it. I know law school students and attorneys love watching that. Franklin and Bash was a party, and it was enjoyable. I liked watching legal stuff that made me not think.
Right.
So, and that's where Kumail
Nanjiani.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, was
That's where he comes in.
Yep.
Yep. And then they got Jon Snow himself, Kit Harington, slating for was this Black Knight. I'm not sure how accurate these Google search results are, but that's just what it says right now. I should probably
I
be
don't
looking
see this
at
crossing.
Yeah.
I don't see this crossing, and I don't know the numbers of.
And then they also have Selma Hayek
Yeah, okay.
cast as well. Gemma Chan, I know she's also pretty big. So yeah, with these cast members, I feel like they're really going for So instead of using the popularity of the characters
Sure.
to sell the movie, they're using the actors to sell the characters.
So that's been the Marvel recipe
Right.
for years. How do you sell a movie like Ant-Man, which most people who even read the comics, most fanboys, for example,
Not even into Ant-Man that
No,
much.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
He probably
you could
has
say
a niche fan base,
you
but
could
not.
kind of say. I mean, listen, some of our listeners.
Well, actually, I do think a lot of people actually were into Hank Pym.
Do you want to grab one with me? I'm Ant-Man. They're Hulk fans.
Wait,
they don't know
no,
Ant-Man.
Oh, he feels
Nobody
bad.
does. Nobody does.
No, he wants you.
I
He
don't want
wants to take a picture with them.
Yeah, look, he's even saying no, he doesn't. I
But
get
come
it.
on, the kid.
I don't want it either.
But you,
I don't want a picture with them.
but he's gonna feel bad.
Sorry.
They're happy to. They said
I
they'll
don't
do
want
it.
to. I don't want
No, you feel bad.
Take the goddamn phone. Okay.
Yeah, but so selling
Nobody
it
had
as
an Ant-Man
selling it
comic.
as
Nobody had an Ant-Man
but selling it
comic.
as Scott Lang, I
listen,
think, is the hard part.
I was reading the comics. You know
I
what?
think
I also
there's
think
plenty
of
of
the
fans of
trading
Hank
cards.
Pym.
When I was a
Mhm.
kid, I was getting the Marvel trading cards. I don't
Yeah.
remember Ant-Man being one of the harder ones to get. He wasn't a hologram. I know that. I'll tell you that. Maybe now it would be, but even Iron Man. I mean, Stern talks. I'm an avid listener of Howard Stern. He talks about the fact that nobody read Iron Man growing up. It's true. I mean, Iron Man was this cool, like, I don't know, rich dude in New York, basically, that had an iron suit. But he was not he was certainly not what Downey brought to the role.
Right.
So how do you do it, right? You have Downey, same thing. It is the Marvel recipe with their films. They take a character who is a heavy hitter in the comic book world, bring it to the cinematic life, and then back it up with an old school heavy hitting actor, right? Which is what you did with Ant-Man, for example. Hank Pym is played by Michael Douglas.
Right.
And
then even at that point, Paul Rudd was pretty big.
Paul
when the
Rudd was
first
getting
one
big too, but
came
he
out,
wasn't big enough to have this other heavy hitting actor. Same thing in, quite frankly, like if you look at I was just watching Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You've got Cap, Chris Evans, now huge, okay, but he wasn't that huge initially.
Yeah.
He was up there. And even in the first movies, he talks about being like, he's like, Captain America's not as important as he should be. Like he feels slighted. He gets there, of course. It becomes Cap versus Iron Man. But even in that movie, you had who played the bad guy? Who played the dude
in
who am I thinking of? I hate that I'm slipping on all these names right now. In Civil War, excuse me, I keep saying that. in Winter Soldier.
In Winter Soldier, the guy who played which person?
Not the CIA, the S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. He's the top of S.H.I.E.L.D., where he's coordinating all this. Major actor. Dude, like old school actor. He's outstanding.
Is it Redford?
Yes, Thank you, Robert Redford.
Mhm.
Yes. Robert Redford is playing that. Even in Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Obadiah Stane.
Right.
Is played by Bridges.
Yeah, Russell Bridges.
No.
Wait, no.
Jeff Bridges. He's the Big Lebowski. Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Yes. So he was Obadiah Stane. That's been their protocol all along.
Can't believe I said Russell Bridges. Who is that? I mixed it up with Kurt Russell.
Russell Crowe? You mix it up, Russell Crowe.
Yeah. No, I probably mixed it up with But sorry, you're saying.
And I'm picking the films that are most well known here. I've got to think about Thor, who was Thor's mom.
I forgot her name.
These are all heavy hitting actors.
Yeah,
is my point, and that's what they do.
Anthony Hopkins
as
Odin,
huge. Yes, of course. Yes. They do that in order to sell it to a different population who's going to say, or a different audience who's going to say, all right, I would never go see Thor, but I like Anthony Hopkins.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to take my 15-year-old son. I'm going to, we're going to have a little outing. I'll enjoy this. Whatever. Kids will go. Parents like. It's a different angle.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm glad that they gave his mom that screen time that she needed during Endgame.
Yes. Russo.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, I always did want to see a little bit more of the relationship between Thor and his mom.
His head was over there, his body over there, and I mean, what was the point? I was too late. I was just standing there. Some idiot with an axe.
No, you're no idiot. You're here, aren't you? Seeking counsel from the wisest person in Asgard.
Yeah, yes.
Idiot, no. A failure? Absolutely.
It's a little bit harsh.
And do you know what that makes you? Just like everyone else.
I'm not supposed to be like everyone else, am I?
Everyone fails at who they're supposed to be, Thor. The measure of a person, of a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are.
We missed you, Mom.
With Thor and them fleshing him out more throughout the movies, they kind of gave him that relationship that moms tend to have with their sons. I think as far as humanizing him goes, that's probably the best move they could have made. So
Sure.
just pointing out how much I like that scene that they had.
Yes, it was great, and that's what. But what I'm and what you're saying is that they're using actors in the Eternals to sell it.
Right.
You've got Salma Hayek.
Yep.
You've got Angelina Jolie.
Right.
You've got
Kit
Jon Snow.
Harrington. Yeah.
Right. That's Jon Snow.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Me either.
Yeah. You haven't either.
I watch bits and pieces. Basically when I'm with my mom and she's watching it, I'll watch it with her, and that's the only time I'll watch it. I'm not gonna get into that. There's lots of sore feelings around that show.
Understood. We could talk about that at a later date, perhaps. But I don't know that, though. I personally don't think that using those actors, as good as they are, I'm going to go watch it. Of course, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I can't wait for any Marvel property to come out. Quite frankly, there's also Marvel characters that I know and love that nobody else knows.
Yeah,
that I've been watching since as a kid. I'd love to see them.
True that.
A ton of DC characters that are like that. There's storylines that'll never come to that life. When it comes to the Eternals, to be the number 2 cinematic property that's going to come in Phase 4, and Feige says it's a gamble. I don't know if you know about the whole. Well, we hinted on it in the horror podcast, but Scorsese and his comments about these movies not being cinema, right? And Feige came back. I think I read recently. He made a couple different points in retort, and one of them was, "We do take actually, no, it was something along the lines of Scorsese said, you're not taking gambles with these characters. When you're watching these films, you don't feel that there's actually something there's inherent or real risk. You're not really feeling like, I guess, what the cinematic stuff that Scorsese has worked on, for example. You feel in the same way. The good guys are going to win.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I don't agree with it. But Feige, in response, said something along the lines of, well, we're making the Eternals. That's a risk. It is a fucking risk. I actually don't think he's responding to Scorsese's point. But
yeah, he's trying to make a different one.
It's a different one. The Black Widow, I'm not even sure Black Widow is the right way to go. I'm not even sure. If you give me the money, if you put me in the position, and I'm not Feige, of course. I'm not Marvel. I'm not the Russo brothers. So statistically, you go with them. They're the best bet when it comes to this. Apparently, they've got it right. But I don't know that Black Widow is the way to go. You give me the money, I'm going Spider-Man all in. I'm going Spider-Man 3. I'm going Spider-Man and any available properties connected to it.
Just more Spider-Man?
What's going to bring in the dollar? I don't know that Black Widow is going to bring in another $1 billion.
I mean,
right? I certainly don't know. I would not bet on the Eternals. I would not bet on characters who you don't know that are going to be allegedly supported by these fantastic actors. I don't think enough people are going to go and see it. I think it's going to be the first time. I don't know where you've had the Marvel properties where they've. I don't think anything Marvel cinematic since Iron Man 1 has sunk. I don't know if this is going to be a sinker, but this is going to be the first time. I'm going to predict that they're not going to hit the mark that they need to. For the Eternals to certainly go.
Yeah, and
onto another property.
That is a huge possibility. Not taking that away from it. All I'm saying is that with Marvel, I would say that they know more than anyone how to take something that is not popular and
They
to
did with the Guardians.
make it awesome. Yes, exactly. With the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
If I told you 15 or 20 years ago that
Marvel's going to do Guardians.
Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy was going to become this multi-million, going towards the billions dollar movie franchise.
Yeah, they made $3 billion with that.
Yeah, you would have laughed in my face because at that point, no one knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. No one cares who they are. They're just these random space goons who have comic books. So Marvel took that and through their creative vision, they did take some liberties, but with their creative vision, they made that into something that's bankable. And now you have TV shows based on that version of Guardians of the Galaxy. You have comics based on that. You have toys. Basically, every Guardians of the Galaxy thing is based on the movie. So I do feel like if anyone is going to take the Eternals, these characters that the mass public isn't really familiar with, and make it into something that is bankable, Marvel will find a way to do it. They'll I believe that they already have a director attached to it, Chloe Zhao, sorry, who she does have a very illustrious film career, and also with the indie film circuit.
What has she done?
She has
What do we got?
done.
Let's. And I feel like such a douchebag saying it as a filmmaker. What is Chloe Zhao doing? I want to know. I want to know what Chloe Zhao has put forth prior to coming to now. What is going to be the prospect of another $1 billion Marvel film?
So at least according to her Wikipedia page, she's done mostly indie films. So she's done Songs My Brothers Taught Me in 2015, which was in Sundance. She did The Rider 2017, and I'm pretty sure she has other stuff as well.
I'm really happy about that because that makes me think. Okay, let's me and you talk to DC. Let's get on the ball here.
Yeah, dude. Of course.
And if Chloe Zhao is making the Eternals, you and I could absolutely make anything.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that allowed Marvel to get where it is.
Yep.
Is that
they take these chances. Not
even just taking the chances, but they go into these movies with a vision.
Yeah.
So they don't go into this. They don't go into movies thinking, okay, this is gonna be an action movie and it's gonna be like this, and the lead guy is gonna be like this, and well, they do some of that, but it's not to the point where it's formulaic, just man with gun action.
Sure.
You know, they add in these elements of just differentness. They add in the music, they add in the cinematography, they add in the color. Sometimes they're getting better with it, but for like with Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, they took a lot of different approaches to it, adding in the music and just the vibes and the relationships between these characters. With, you could say, with Black Panther, you know, adding in all the African culture, bringing on Ryan Coogler, who's a great director.
Sure.
We are home. My son, it is your time.
Show me my respect and bow down.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be. Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over. I'ma burn it all.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
What else is out? I mean, even with Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame,
Captain Marvel
as well.
But they took a character that was relatively unknown. In cartoons, she was a late comer when it comes to the Avengers.
Right.
Made it a great story. They spun it in 1995. It was a good movie.
Yeah,
I certainly enjoyed it. I had my problems with certain parts of it.
Yeah, they added the atmosphere,
but it was enjoyable.
But Also, what I like about Infinity War and Endgame specifically is that there is a sensitivity to it that you don't find in most action movies.
Sure.
And is rare to find in these big budget Hollywood films. There's a sensitivity to it among the characters. You feel for these people, and as you watch them lose,
right.
You watch them cry, you watch them fall apart, and then you watch them get back up again.
Mhm.
And that's a theme that is explored a lot in indie movies. With Thor Ragnarok, bringing on Taika Waititi was huge because he's also a director with that really unique vision, who's doing things that you won't see other people do. He came out with this movie not too long ago, Jojo Rabbit, which is just a wild thing to think that exists, but he did it because he just has this vision, So yeah, I do think that is definitely a risk for Marvel, but now is the time for them to take those risks because they've already did everything.
I disagree.
That
I do.
think,
I
okay.
want to see. So when did Guardians come out?
That was 2000 and
we
not 11.
We
It
really
was
need Nightwing. Nightwing. We need
Nightwheel.
Nightwheel back to help us in these moments. But thank God for the internet. But 2014.
Okay,
right.
I was way off.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. So I just want to see in 2014 what was happening.
I'm not good with dates.
So 2014 was really okay. 2014, the movie Guardians came out just before Avengers: Age of Ultron and after Winter Soldier. Russo brothers come in, right? So 2013 was Iron Man 3. Oh, okay. Avengers was May 2012. May 2012 Avengers. Iron Man a year later. Thor: Dark World. People like actually think that's their worst Marvel property. I disagree with it, but Captain America, Winter Soldier, and then Guardians, right? So now, in that world, they're taking the risk of Guardians, and they're just throwing it. I think they're just throwing it out there. They're like, we've spent $18 billion now on these movies. Let's throw out Guardians. They've got a great script. What's his name? Who had all the controversy? The director, James Gunn comes out, writes it, throws it out there. I think James Gunn's a part writer or something. Throw it out there. It crushes it.
Yep.
Now, I disagree with it being the time. You're right. I understand that Marvel and the money they've made and the properties they've now
and
out of the park every time.
Also, the reputation.
The reputation they have. Of course.
So
Of course.
overseas, there's
course.
more people into Marvel characters than there ever have been.
And that might be the only angle I would agree with you with. On one point, when you said that one actor who's the Korean actor,
Right,
playing
yeah.
Forgotten One, and you said he's playing Gilgamesh. That's the one thing that I might understand in this respect. But I disagree with this being the time for them to gamble because you've got I'm not the only one who's heard it. You have so many people who are making superhero films. I'm writing and creating superhero characters at a time where people are now saying, I'm done. I'm sick of the superhero characters. Now, we grew up reading them. We grew up reading the comics. You and I've read the comics. I watched the cartoons. I still watch the cartoons. I love them and I always will.
Same.
But there are so many people who've never done any of that. And they've just gotten into the movies. And now they're like, all right, I'm done. You know what? These superhero movies, I'm done with these superhero movies. I don't want to see them anymore.
But that's the thing. Here is how you get around that. Is that you
hire Angelina Jolie?
that
call up Jon Snow to the cinematic world.
Also that and you make people watch superhero movies without making them feel like they're watching a superhero movie.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So kind of pull a Joker there. So you take what could be considered a superhero story, and you just give it a interesting personality and allow it to exist that way.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to it.
So these new, at least for the Eternals movie, it might not feel like a typical superhero movie. One, because they're not superheroes, right? These are celestial beings who oversee the Marvel universe. So they're not going to be out there saving people from falling out of buildings and
it's
all
another
that stuff.
aspect that I find.
They're going to be controlling the cosmos and creating life itself,
Sure,
which is a whole different realm than anything that's been explored up until now. And basically, the Eternals are, well, the Celestials are the reason that Marvel exists. They were the ones who created the tendency of, at least in the comics, they're the ones who created the tendency of life on Earth to change and mutate in the ways that they do. Because in real life, you get hit by radiation, you get cancer, you die. In the Marvel universe, you get superpowers, and they're the ones who made it like that. And so just seeing that is going to be pretty awesome, I feel like.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree because it's not relatable. It's not. These characters
They'll find a way to make it relatable.
Even the Guardians.
They will. That is the last problem. They made Thor relatable.
Sure, because
he's a 1,500-year-old war god.
Yeah, and he also
they made him relatable.
He needs to do Peloton. He got to a point. They made him relatable because he drank beer and got fat, like all of us.
No, even before that, in Thor Ragnarok, he was very relatable.
Oh, he was fun. They made him funny. They brought him down from the.
They gave him very human emotions.
Yeah,
that he
as
didn't
opposed
have
to that
before.
lofty Asgardian planetary god. He's a god. He's the god of thunder.
Exactly.
He's a king also.
Which
Prince,
is what I was talking
right?
about with Vision, Like you go with the first two movies, he's big buff god guy, just kills things. But after that, he has an actual personality to go with.
Perfect chance to take a quick spot break for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. You want to ask my permission?
Yeah. Just got to run out.
BRB.
Essentially Heroes tonight is brought to you by Class & Co. Co-working space located on 260 Ainsley Street in Brooklyn. They've got co-working space as conveniently located 2 blocks away from the Graham Avenue L train stop. And they are available for any of your co-working needs, be it a small office, medium office, or co-working space, or even event space. If you've got any sort of event or seminar or conference of any sort for a weekend or evening, they are available. And as Etienne, their co-working time, availability, space needs have been fantastic. So thank you to Class & Co. for all of your co-working needs.
Thank you to Class & Co. And now, back to the show.
Tell me about what we know. I don't know anything about the Eternals. I understand there are some characters that I may know, but tell me about what's to come that we do know. Because now we disagree, and we will see what comes in. When is this now? May of what are we looking at here? When the Eternals comes out? May of 20? No.
Supposed to drop November 6th, 2020.
November. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, God bless. I guess they're putting that much money and they're expecting that much from TV to come. But I mean, I want more. I want more from the Marvel properties that I do know. I want more from the stories that I've already seen. I want to see Spidey come in and take over.
That is coming.
I don't have time for this.
I understand that that you have specific tastes.
There are
that you want to keep up with.
And there are definite. This is not the arc to bring the X-Men in. How long do I have to wait for the X-Men? For the X-Men to come in. Look, you showed me Phase 4. It's going to 2022. Where are the fucking X-Men? I need them. Yeah. I don't have time for this.
But you don't want them to rush it and mess it up.
Agreed.
But I do feel like they'll find some way to slip them in either the shows or because I'm not even sure that this is that the list that we have here is the end all be all comprehensive list. So they might end up slipping something in.
This is ending with Thor in November of 2021.
Right.
So, and we are sitting here doing the podcast November 19th of 2019.
So 2 years from now.
2 years. All right. Mm-hmm. So 2 years I got to wait for no X-Men?
Yeah.
All right. Let's write some X-Men. Let's write some X-Men properties.
I don't think they're going to wait that. They're gonna slip something in there.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, even with the Doctor Strange, movie that's coming up, that looks to be very hopeful because since it's a multiverse of madness, they have the freedom to slip into different continuities, into different stories that haven't been told yet. So I wager that if they're going to start introducing new characters, then it will be somewhere around there. And then bring in the X-Men, bring in the Fantastic Four, bring in the Thunderbolts for Pete's sake, like whatever you gotta do. And they kind of had their shot and they blew it.
I know.
They'll find another way to get them back, I feel like, but just the bad reputation around that, they got to let that cool off a little bit. So yeah, John, you were saying that you had something you want to bring up.
Yeah, I mentioned that there is a different angle and there is something I do trust when it comes to box office.
Mm-hmm.
We actually were in a position where we were trusting this element. And that element is the Eastern Hemisphere and the box office that it brings.
Right.
If the Eternals is angling by way of this Korean actor, Don Lee.
Well, yeah, they call him Don Lee.
Don Lee, Ma Dong-suk.
Yeah, Ma Dong-suk.
Okay. So Ma Dong-suk. I just want to see what that little squib said. Oh, of course I hit the wrong thing.
We'll cut this out.
Now, if Don Lee, what did it say there? He's a Korean-American actor with breakout performance, Train to Busan, which I never saw. He's become one of the most popular bankable actors in South Korea.
Yeah, you should see Train to Busan, by the way, because it's amazing.
All right,
It's so
I'll give it a shot.
It's,
Okay.
it's basically what the Resident Evil movie should have been.
Okay.
IMO.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if they're angling by way of bringing him in, if he is, I don't know, if he's Downey, if he's their Downey, for example, then boom, that's bringing in, I don't know, $500 million potentially out of the Asian market, right? This is something that one of my favorite authors who I pay attention to frequently when it comes to superhero cinema box office. Okay. He writes for Forbes. His name's Scott Mendelson. And I've been reading his articles for years. There's an article that he just wrote in October talking about superhero movies, why they are so famous, why they're so significant in Hollywood. And much of it is because his point is that everything else just gets ignored. It falls to the wayside. Man, I think there's more to that. But he's been writing this stuff for years. And he talks about the Asian markets, especially like Fast and Furious capitalized on it with Tokyo Drift in that series years ago, a long time ago, right? That was technically the second or third film.
It was the third one.
Yeah, it was the third.
Yeah.
Right. Fast and Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
And then
that. Yeah. Tokyo Drift was a completely different market, and they were angling, and I think they succeeded in that respect. Now, same thing is happening seemingly here. They're trying to take over the world because they've got the next, and in phase 4, separate from what we just talked about in the way of the Eternals, but Shang-Chi is coming out.
Right.
February of 2020.
Yes.
So even before.
Shang-Chi, Marvel's new Kung Fu movie.
Right. So they're like, okay, let's really conquer the world. Let's take over the other half of the planet. And if that is the angle, now, I don't know if that's enough for Eternal. If that means Eternals does well somehow globally, but not so well in the Western Hemisphere, then sure. Then they still succeed. They still make $1 billion potentially. Yeah, right?
I mean,
so if the global intake after 2 years, after I don't know how long the legs and what happens is 1.6 billion, something along those lines, then of course it's a success. And if 800 million of that is coming from the Eastern market, then there you go. Same thing. I don't know who Shang-Chi is. I've never known Shang-Chi.
Yeah, basically, I knew very vaguely of him before it was announced.
Okay.
He is a Heroes for Hire, or he's been associated with the Heroes for Hire here and there.
Okay.
I believe he's also with the newer Marvel team that includes Amadeus Cho, Silk, who else? Miss Marvel. There's like a team that they have going on right now, and he's part of the team.
See, I'd rather see Amadeus Joe because at least I know him. At least I've seen him in the cartoons.
Yeah. And he should be played by Stephen Yeun as well.
Who is?
That would be, you know, the guy who played Glenn from Walking Dead?
No.
A guy from the trailer I showed you, Mayhem.
Oh, yes.
That's him, yeah.
That dude, okay, totally.
He's so,
all right.
He's perfect. He's funny. He's,
sure.
Awesome.
But again, and that is the, I will give them that deference. And that is certainly, if you and I are filmmakers, Marvel's not giving us $1 billion to make these movies, right? But they're trusting Feige, they're trusting the Russos, they're trusting the team that they've now put together, and that team is swaying them to an Asian market potentially by way of, if Eternals is the way to go, if Shang-Chi is going to do this, then I'm all for it. I'm all for them gaining a whole nother stream of revenue to come back in and then make the X-Men movies they're looking for. I just don't want to wait 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they definitely want to grab as big of an audience as they can.
Sure.
Because people are always clamoring for the next, inclusive, movie. Just look at how Black Panther did.
Of course.
You know, in the same year as Crazy Rich Asians, you had Crazy Rich Africans. And
that's a good point.
And yeah, it basically started its own movement going on. So you had people talking about Black Panther nonstop. You had people showing it for schools. You had people actually going on field trips to go see Black Panther.
If that means that I don't know, Chinese school children are going to be taking field trips. I don't think in the communist country that they're going to be taking field trips to go see Shang-Chi, for example. But
yeah, but probably in the U.S. they might. You know, you have a bunch of, maybe like on the West Coast, you have like a lot of, or sometimes on the East Coast, you have a lot of, primarily Asian schools. They might do the same thing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they take different things out of movies. So if these people wouldn't have gone to see the movie otherwise, then, why not give them the extra boost? I feel like
I would do a field trip screening of Die Hard for 13-year-old boys in America. Okay, that's what they should
give them their daily dose of adrenaline.
Yes. They need to see John McClane and what it means.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is definitely going to make big numbers. Like even aside from just China, the U.S. and other Asian countries, it's also going to be like an interesting new genre to add to things.
Sure.
Like the kind of I don't know if it's going to be like Grindhouse or whatever, but adding in like the martial arts kung fu element, that's something that they haven't really worked with before. So that'll be cool. I think that they have Simu Liu and Awkwafina attached to the project so far. Awkwafina, big actor right now.
Right.
So it's already banking on the actor factor, if you will.
Okay.
And yeah, as you can see, it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Okay.
And 10 rings, you know what that means.
I'm not saying it's not going to be good. Oh, I do know Mandarin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
understood.
and so that's where they're going
another
to
Avengers, Iron Man.
It's mainly an Iron Man villain.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we thought that we weren't going to get any Mandarin action, but boom, Maklu on rings.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so because there was also that short where Ben Kingsley's character, the Mandarin, he goes to prison, and then this guy walks up to him and says, "You've been using the Mandarin's name, and now he wants to talk to you."
Possibly your portrayal has angered some people. No, I mean, some of them are very dangerous.
You don't have to tell me, mate. I've seen those bloody internet message boards. Vicious.
I'm not talking about the message boards. I'm talking about the Ten Rings.
Come again?
The terrorist group. Historically associated with the Mandarin. Officially, they're dormant, but evidence suggests that they're becoming more active.
What, the Ten Rings? Are they real?
It's well documented. You mean to tell me that you don't know the history of the Mandarin himself? He was a warrior king. Inspired generations of men through the Middle Ages, perhaps even further back in time.
Hinting that the actual Mandarin was still out there somewhere. And then that's going to be this Mandarin that's in this movie.
Speaking of Mandarin, I don't
and
know
then
if
now that
you-
they've already established magic, they can kind of go wherever they want with that.
I don't know
Because
if
in
you
Iron
watched-
Man,
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like in Iron Man, it would have been harder to pull off the Mandarin and
Of
all
course,
of his
of course.
glory,
He's
but yeah,
I feel like the Doctor Strange team could have shown a true Mandarin villain. I mean, they showed Dormammu.
Yeah.
And global threat as far as I'm concerned. And he
Oh,
comes in and
multiversal threat.
yeah, absolutely. Right. Multi-plane. Mandarin could have been interesting, but just a shout out to, if you recall, Iron Man Armored Adventures. It was a cartoon that I felt was so underrated. It was a young Tony Stark.
Yeah, I
coming
love
into
that
his
one.
own. It was great. Like, I think it went for 1 or 2, maybe 2 seasons.
He's a man on a mission in armor of high-tech ammunition.
And they got
2 or
deep
3 or
into
something like that.
Mandarin. Like he teams
Yeah,
up with Mandarin's his son or something.
Gene
right?
Khan, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool just to see them be friends / frenemies.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
yeah, that's cool.
Which brings me to the next point. We've got Eternals, we've got Shang-Chi. This is now in the first year, right? This is a year out. And now,
Right.
actually, Shang-Chi's going to be February of 20.
Yep.
So we've got Doctor Strange coming, a year later, May 2021. What do you want to see? You got Loki. We got Thor at the end of all this, of this phase. Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is early. What do you want to see? I've said it. I'm going to watch all of these, but I'm not itching to watch Eternals. I don't even know Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I do know Mandarin. That's interesting. Sure, I do want to see Black Widow. That's the cinematic world has built this up to this place. I am excited about Doctor Strange. We talked about Doctor Strange in the horror podcast because that is slated to I believe, essentially be Marvel's first horror effort.
Which one?
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Multiverse of
Yeah,
Madness
I heard about that. Yeah,
is going to be scary.
Yes.
I think it's going to be their scariest Marvel property, cinematic property,
which is really cool because that's kind of what Doctor Strange does. Sure, he takes on these dark nightmares.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
I think in the comics, they kind of have it established where the world that you see isn't the world that's actually going on. So there's constantly these spirits and monsters and things running around. You just don't see them.
Right.
But they're there. And Doctor Strange has to deal with some pretty gnarly stuff on the daily basis. To the point where I think there's even a comic where he sells his soul for power and becomes a demon, something like that.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
But yeah, definitely seeing him deal with more. Like Dormammu was cool, his followers weren't.
Right.
So yeah, just seeing him deal with like some actual demonic stuff or just some interesting
It's like
stuff. Yeah,
the same level of Hellboy, for example, or what the Hellboy organization deals with.
Something like that. Yeah.
I love their. I really enjoy that movie, the Hellboy 1 and 2, especially. They're fun, but the guy who runs that Hellboy organization says something along the lines of, "We deal with the monsters who go bump in the night.
Yeah,
we bump back." I thought that was great. But Doctor Strange is in the similar, playing and dealing with all these things that you never see. And they're behind the walls. They're in your dreams. They're like at night. They're in the dark. They're in space.
Yeah. You ever see the animated Doctor Strange movie?
Loved it.
Yeah, that was awesome, right?
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was better than the actual the cinematic work, to be honest with you. It felt just like it.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, especially the Dormammu fight.
Yeah.
There was, some parts
the
of it.
opening
But
scene looks just like it.
Yeah.
It plays. That's as close to a one-to-one film live action to the cartoon as you could get, as far as I'm concerned. You want to see, what do you, I'm telling you what I'm excited about. What do you think? What are you looking forward to? And is there something you don't see that should be there, or that you feel should be there?
So as far as I've seen, they have most of my bases covered. They said that they're bringing out a Moon Knight series, I believe.
That's cool.
So that'll be like, I'm interested to see where they'll take that, because Moon Knight's a very fascinating character between his mental state, because he has a split personality disorder where he has different superheroes inside of his head to the point where if he picks the right personality, he can lift Thor's hammer. Like, that's happened.
We talked about Moon Knight, I believe. I can't remember which podcast now at this point.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm happy that we have that many. That I'm now forgetting when and where we reference Moon Knight. But if you could explain briefly Moon Knight for our audience.
Batman in white, and he kills people.
The moon led me to this heinous villain so I could stop her, and the moon will not tolerate your interference. I will not allow this spider-face villain to stand in your way. I, the moon's knight of vengeance, must carry out your luminous will.
Are you seriously talking to the moon?
And he's got all these superheroes.
Yeah.
To tap into.
No. Yeah. He's a hero who he fights people and he has gadgets. He has multiple personalities of different superheroes inside of his head, and the full moon makes him stronger.
And he can lose,
or the size of the moon.
He can lose control.
I'm not sure about that. I think in certain continuities, probably.
Okay.
But yeah.
Or maybe I'm thinking because he kills, that he doesn't have this.
I think it's a struggle for. I think it's a struggle for dominance in certain aspects. In other aspects, he has it more.
Yeah, I'm definitely
more
I do want to see it. Yeah. I want to see the darker Marvel characters come out, of course. Definitely. Which leads us to potentially Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye. Well, so yeah, in Avengers Endgame, he took on a darker personality. Many know him as Ronin.
He was awesome.
During that, he didn't really stick with that, or at least as far as I guess he changed his costume a little bit. But with Hawkeye, they have the Hawkeye series announced for 2021 fall.
That's a TV series. It's coming out.
Yes,
on Disney Plus. On Disney Universe. Okay.
Yes, the Disney Plus series. And it's interesting to see if they will kind of continue down that path, if he'll keep being this sort of darker hero, or whether he'll kind of be more back to his regular self. Especially since it's going to be a show that he shares with his daughter, who is training to become a new Hawkeye. I'm not sure if her name is Kate Bishop. I forgot what Hawkeye's daughter's name was from the movies, but in the comics, her name is Kate Bishop, who takes the mantle of Hawkeye. And yeah,
I love that, by the way.
Just taking the
when a character steps in to take over for the lead character. I think that is, if I'm not, you know this more than I do. I believe Falcon is the current Captain America.
I don't think he's officially
Captain
taken up the
come back in. I don't know. I know Captain America was assassinated at one point and now back.
Assassinated? Who?
Well, it was years ago, I believe.
You mean in the comics?
At the end of Civil War. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so
in
yeah.
the comics. Yes.
So in the comics, at the end, after Civil War,
okay,
Bucky becomes Captain America. And then in the newer comics, Sam, the Falcon, is Captain America, right, and he's leading the Avengers along with who else is there? I know Jane Foster as Thor is there. I know Miss Marvel. They have Sam Richardson, I believe, who is Nova.
Okay.
No, Sam Alexander is Nova.
That's cool.
They have a bunch of they have a bunch of characters in there. I believe Spider-Man is in there somewhere. But yeah, right now in the comics, he's, or at least in some versions of the comics, he is Captain America.
Right.
As far as the movie continuities go, he has been given the role of Captain America. He hasn't taken on the name Captain America as of yet.
Sure.
Probably at some point during the show, they'll play with that.
Yeah, that's something I want to see. I want to see that explored more.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten into it. And I wrote some notes here in preparation for this podcast tonight. And one of them was the concept of good doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You've got often doppelgangers who are clear foils, right?
Right.
Venom and Spider-Man initially, for example. Batman to the Joker. A number of different characters.
Keep it Marvel, man.
Sure. Okay, sorry.
Stop going off brand.
We're here for Marvel, that's right. The character I've always wanted to see come into live action. And I haven't seen him yet. I feel like, I don't think I've ever seen, no, definitely not as a cartoon either in the animated world, but comics and when I was a kid, I loved U.S. Agent. If you know who he is.
No.
U.S. Agent takes the place of Captain America at one point. Initially, he comes in, and his character's name is Super Patriot, which is interesting because I've got a character that's similar that we just filmed.
Mm-hmm.
But Super Patriot was obsessed with patriotism to the point that he felt like Captain America was weak. He didn't embody patriotism enough. So he actually comes in as an anti-hero, and he fights Captain America. But then at some point, he gets rebranded, and he becomes this other character, U.S. Agent, who takes Captain America's place for a period of time. And I don't remember why, what the basis was, but I love when that happens. When you've got these lesser known characters, it's like giving the bench a shot for a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know, Rhodey's a perfect example. Venom could take Spidey's place the way they're doing it right now. You know?
As
Spidey, technically. I mean, actually, well,
I
they've
mean,
got the Black Spider-Man.
in the movies or
in the movies right now. Sure, I think that Fleischer's Venom is an anti-hero, but at the same time, he's kind of doing good. He saves the world from that Venom, that other bad Venom. I forget that dude's name, that other character.
Riot.
His
name is Riot.
Oh, Riot. Oh, thank you. Yes. Riot. Yes.
Three goddamn times.
Another character who I feel like we've discussed this at other points was Beta Ray Bill with Thor.
Yeah.
Like Thor actually gets sick or something happens, and Beta Ray Bill comes and takes his place. Beta Ray Bill looks like this crazy,
a kind of horse face
alien. Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he can wield Thor's hammer.
Yeah, he can. He chooses not to, though. I believe he uses Stormbreaker.
He's got his own. Right. But he can. It's clear. And I remember this as a kid, like Thor's hammer. Okay, they've done it cinematically, and Cap finally holds it, which is cool, and he does his thing. But when I was a kid reading those comics, and like anything you could get your hands on about Thor, like nobody could hold his hammer. Like nobody. And then all of a sudden, this dude, Beta Ray, what? Beta Ray, what? Who the fuck?
Which all this has been kind of a weird spot for me, is because at least in the way that Thor is portrayed, a lot of times there's not really much that sets him apart from other heroes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I believe usually Spider-Man's not able to pick up the hammer, but it's always like, why?
Right.
You know, because at least as far as what's being clearly shown within the panels and the stories, there's not much that makes Thor more heroic or better than these other heroes.
Sure.
And he's actually kind of a dick a lot of times because he's a god and he likes to remind people of that constantly. And in a lot of continuities, he has this sort of haughtiness to him where, he's the leader in spirit, and he sees people like Captain America and Iron Man more as the leader in title. So he's like, I'm actually the one running the show, but I let you guys kind of just have the name, just because you humans, you mortals are obsessed with titles like that kind of thing.
Sure.
In some continuities, in others he's like super chill. He's just part of the team.
Right.
But yeah, that was always weird for me, is seeing as like, and I believe there's this YouTube channel called Dorkly, and they're under like the College Humor brand, but they make a video. It's a comedy video, but basically it's showing that like all the Avengers can pick up Thor's hammer, and he's freaking out. He's like, why can you do it? And Tony is like, well, I use my technology to help save the world, and I overcame my addiction.
No freaking way! I'm a completely regular dude with no powers, special abilities, or robot suits, yet I fight alongside others who have all that stuff, thus risking my life way more.
Oh, is there anyone here who isn't worthy?
And yeah, I just think that video touched on a lot of things I was feeling.
Sure.
But yeah, that was my little Thor rant. So yeah, winding down, I think...
Go ahead.
Oh,
I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, winding down, I think that it's going to be an interesting couple of years going down the line, because Marvel is just going to get crazier and crazier with the things that they try. And I feel like they're going to bring a lot of new things to the table, even amidst the hero, I guess you would call it sickness, where it's just all been done. We're tired of superhero stuff, and we might end up, or a lot of people who have been seeing the movies might end up skipping them and kind of just jumping back in for the Avengers movie that's inevitably coming in like 2025 or something like that. Which is a valid opinion. I mean, if you've...
And again, a loss of money.
Yeah. So they're definitely going to have to try harder to get people into the seats. And, you know, whatever they do, I just hope that they keep it interesting, keep it weird, keep it fun, keep it dark if they have to, but just keep on keeping on.
Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda, whatever her name.
Maximoff.
Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, is a major factor in the X universe. Make the connection, Marvel. It's time. It's time. She's it. She's it. She has not been featured in the X world, but in the comics, she is strong enough to rid the world of all mutants.
Right.
So, and in fact, does so at some point. It's time. Make the connection. All these characters are mutants in some way, shape, or form, with the exception of the humans that are not superheroes, are the ones that don't have any powers, like Hawkeye, like Iron Man, like Black Widow. But it's time. That's what I want to see. This is where it needs to go. And there's a rich, rich world that the X world has to call upon. And I know I'm a fan of what Fox has done over the years with the X-Men. I love it. The X-Men have always been a little weirder, a little deeper, a little richer, and a team, an actual functional team. The Beatles are a band. Rolling Stones are a band. Traveling Wilburys, who I referenced before, were not a band. They're an ensemble like the Avengers. And that's where things need to cross to make an X. And that's where I stand.
Yeah. Speaking of, have you ever watched Legion?
No.
The FX show?
Talked about that. No, I do want to, that's on my extending list of homework.
Okay, yeah, because, that I'd say that in the meantime, until we get the big screen X-Men content, I think that'll hold you over, because it's an X-Men story. It's the main character is the son of Charles Xavier, who's basically this incredible psychic with all these different godlike abilities, just trying to figure him out. He fights Shadow King. He fights this organization who's trying to capture. It's a really interesting show.
Right.
And it also has this really unique vibe to it, which is what I was talking about before with the directors of the Vision. It feels different from superhero stuff.
I heard he's a savior. He's a prophet, immortal. He's a god.
Powerhouse. We've been waiting for you.
Is this a cult?
I help people open their minds.
Tick tock, little birdie.
I'm the magic man.
just unique. You just gotta watch it to see what I'm talking about. But that fits Legion as a character because he's this wild, unpredictable character who just has all these powers inside of him and no way of controlling them. And yeah, I think that's about as X-Men as it gets in terms of, dealing with your superpowers. So yeah.
I'm leading to angling for an X podcast.
Yeah.
So-
we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
I would say by the time that they announce who's either by the time that they drop New Mutants or by the time that they announce new X-Men stuff, we can jump in there. We can talk about all the X-Men animated stuff. We can go over the movies. But yeah, because I have a lot of strong opinions on the X-Men movies.
New Mutants is. I'm gonna predict that it's scrapped.
Really?
I'm gonna say
because they're gonna.
If Fox wasn't releasing it for the longest time for whatever reasons that we'll never know, Marvel's not touching it. Not now. Where do they place it? Where do they place it in Phase 4? Look at what's happening right now. What, Phase 5 as a throwaway one day? Like, oh, by the way, New Mutants was made back in 2018. We're gonna put it out there now, 2023.
After they finish.
X Factor is made. That'd be fucking awesome.
Oh, dude! If after they finish the edits to make it very slightly more family friendly, they'll drop some version of it. But I don't think they're gonna scrap it. They'll find something. All right, and with that was our Marvel update cast. Hopefully, this has come out by the time that all this information is still valid. Hopefully there's not some huge revelation that comes out right after we finish this recording. But yeah, if not, then we nailed it. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And you can find us on most platforms. You can find podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, Podbean. Thanks to Podbean, Spotify,
SoundCloud.
Yeah, and SoundCloud.
YouTube soon enough. We'll have a video podcast very soon.
Yeah, we're coming to YouTube. We're coming for you, YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah, so get ready to demonetize us because we, yeah. And yeah, you can follow us on social media. Just Essentially Heroes on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm at OUKAN_O on Instagram and Twitter, but I only really use Instagram. You are
Rusty
Ferris Wheel.
That's right.
And yeah. Follow us and check out our stuff.
Rusty Ferris Wheel site soon to come with the rest of our content.
Yep.
The Ferris Comics content that is coming to you soon. That is going to be launched very soon.
Yes. And yeah, please, if you guys have any thoughts or suggestions for topics, if we messed up bad and you want to yell at us for some factoid that we got wrong,
that's right.
Please feel free to drop all that in the comment section as well.
Let's hear it.
Yep. And with that, we are out of here.
Thanks, folks.
Peace.